released in the next day or two.
It is a term we first heard in driver's ed, defensive driving. Makes sense. Our goal when we get behind the wheel is to get somewhere safely. But how about when your goal is to get there before anyone else, like at the Milwauke Mile? Does defensive driving then go the way of the blinker? Tim Van Voren talks to the drivers who will be racing out there next weekend.
It is part of what anyone behind the steering wheel needs to think about. Defensive driving. Knowing that others on the road might be distracted at times by cell phones, fast food meals,
are we there yet?
or kids in the car, or whatever, makes it all the more important. That principle, at least, remains the same on a racetrack. A driver's goal is to finish ahead of every other car. Emphasize to finish.
That's the unique thing about IndyCar racing. Even though we're rivals, we have a supreme respect for one another, because if our cars touch,
whoa, big crashes.
Really bad things happen. I mean, they'll go flying.
Airborne.
And chances of injury are very high.
Oh, and we've got a big problem at the north end of the racetrack.
We really do respect one another, but we race so hard. I mean, we're just inches apart, but we respect those inches.
The IndyCar circuit is made up of a bunch of independent contractors competing together. It's a fraternity of drivers, male and female. You have to have respect for one another. But with the stakes these folks are dealing with, you have to have more than respect. You certainly have to have awareness.
When we're racing so closely with each other, you always have maximum trust in the guys that are next to you. Depending who it is, sometimes you need to leave a little bit more room than with others. But generally, you're expecting them to not make mistakes.
Hopefully, at this level, the people you're racing with are qualified. You got to trust them and kind of rely on them to make the right decision.
Well, you have to know who you're driving around, and you treat every driver accordingly. There's some guys you can trust more than others, and you treat them that way. You know, some guys you got to be a little more defensive than others.
As is certainly the case on the road regular drivers travel every day. At the Milwauke Mile, Tim Van Voren, Fox 6 Sports.
The IndyCar Series was in Texas Saturday night, and defensive driving was clearly on display in many occasions. Next Saturday, those same drivers will be here in town for Milwauke IndyFest. The green flag falls in the early afternoon out at the Milwauke Mile.
Well, the match is set. It will be Oklahoma City, the Thunder versus the